Well, welcome everyone for zooming in. Music as Medicine, the Healing Power of Sound, presented by Dana Dragone. And Dana, as some of you may have been on some previous Zoom calls, has been doing excellent health-related presentations, and we have one coming up on moon circles and moon cycles on February 11th. But today's focus is going to be music as medicine. And without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Dana.
All right. Hello, everyone. So like Stephen said, today we're talking about music and its powerful benefits for healing. Music has a surprisingly very long list of health benefits, ranging from cardiac benefits to mood boosting properties and even neurological advances, which is pretty cool. Sound affects all three human levels, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. I had so much fun like looking up and researching for this presentation because it's mind-blowing. It's really, really interesting. So how we hear music. First, we'll get into like the anatomy of it. So music arrives at the ear in the form of sound waves, goes into the ear canal, into the eardrum, and as the wave hits the eardrum, it vibrates. So these vibrations actually are replayed along the little tiny bones that are in the middle of your ear called the cochlea. And this is filled with fluid and tiny hair cells. So as these vibrations make waves through the cochlea, it moves the hair cells, and these release neurotransmitters, which activate the auditory nerve and send signals, into the temporal lobe of the brain. So it's a lot of science there, but basically you just have these waves that are coming into your ear and vibrating around in your head. And neurotransmitters are these chemicals that our brain releases. So different parts of our brain can take these chemicals and use them to be able to interpret the different properties of music, things like pitch, melody, chords, and harmony. But there's also an emotional component to it. So your brain actually can like correlate different sounds with different emotions. So if you think about like when you're watching a scary movie and you've got like those deeper tones that are kind of more ominous, like there's an emotion that comes with that type of music. If you were watching like a horror movie to the soundtrack of like a circus, you probably wouldn't think it was very scary. There's something called the Mozart Effect, which I thought was so interesting. Researchers at the University of California investigated how listening to music affects cognitive function. So in their first study, they administered a standard IQ test questions to 3 different groups of college students. The first group was a group that listened to Mozart for about 10 minutes. The next group listened to a relaxation tape before they took the IQ test, and the last group just waited in silence. What they found was that listening to Mozart consistently boosted the test scores. The Mozart effect was considered modest, so it wasn't, amazing. It's not like you turned into a genius immediately after listening to Mozart, but the IQ scores increased between 8 and 9 points, and this lasted for about 15 minutes. So you want to, if you're going to use this in practice, you would want to listen to Mozart right before taking a test. Listening to it the night before is not really going to do you too much good. Now we're going to get into some different like disease states or issues that we have in the body. So the first one is stroke and brain injury. Music has been found to provide some relief for stroke victims in the hospital during recovery. Singing lyrics can actually be helpful to people who are recovering from a stroke that damaged the left brain region. So the left brain contains our region that is responsible for speech, but singing originates in the right side of the brain. So this is really cool. So when you're trying to talk, that's from the left side, but when you want to sing, that comes from the right side. So stroke patients can actually relearn to speak if the left side of the brain was damaged by singing their thoughts and then gradually dropping the melody because the right side of the brain isn't damaged. I thought that was really cool. There's also some cardiac benefits. Studies have shown that music may help the heart and circulation. It can help slow our heart rate. It can lower our blood pressure. It can also reduce levels of stress hormones such as cortisol. But music also provides some relief to heart attack patients who are undergoing surgery. The patients that were listening to music for about 30 minutes when they were confined to their bed in a hospital had lower blood pressure, slower heart rates, and less distress than those who didn't listen to music. Heart attack survivors who listened to music in a quiet environment, something that was restful, for just about 20 minutes were less anxious about their health than those who rested in a quiet room without music. Blood flow increased significantly while volunteers listened to music that evoked joy or to relaxation tapes, and decreased while they listened to music that provoked anxiety. So we want blood flow, right? You want your blood to be flowing through your body to provide oxygen to all of your muscles and your tissues. So listening to happy or relaxing music, actually help to increase that blood flow. Older volunteers who listened to relaxing music for 25 minutes a day for 4 weeks ended up lowering their systolic blood pressure by 12 points and their diastolic pressure by 5 points. There is a control group in this study that did not listen to any music, and they had no changes in blood pressure. So that's pretty cool to be able to say, you know, I was able to lower my blood pressure just by listening to some relaxing music for 25 minutes a day. With depression and anxiety. So music is good for the soul. I don't think anyone would argue that. It can make you laugh or cry. It can rile you up or it can calm you down. Listening to music, especially happy music, can help to stimulate creativity and innovative thinking. But when we say happy music, what is happy music? That's something that's super subjective. So for someone, happy music could be, you know, like a bright and cheery song. But for someone else, happy music could be like a heavy rock and roll song. So this is based on what you consider to be happy. There is no standard here. Listening to music can help improve your mood. Even in patients with depression, those who participated in music therapy had a greater reduction of depressive symptoms than those who only received other types of psychotherapy. It can also improve symptoms of depression in people and sleep in people with PTSD. So listening to music that makes you feel good, especially if you're someone who suffers from anxiety or depression or PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, can be really beneficial. Studies have shown that music's ability to reduce stress in high anxiety situations. It may be able to lower anxiety better than prescription drugs in certain situations, such as pre-surgery. So this isn't people who suffer from like panic disorder or anxiety disorder. This is more of things where you're going through a situation that's a little bit more high anxiety. So pre-surgery, maybe you're running late and you're stuck in traffic, things like that. Listening to nice relaxing music can help reduce anxiety in those situations. It can also help to reduce anxiety from past physical and emotional trauma. So kind of linking back to the therapy, it seems that music, when used with therapy, can be really beneficial. It can increase depression and anxiety as well. So this was really interesting to me. Depending on what type of music you listen to, some music can actually increase depression and anxiety. You want to listen to what appeals to you. If a song is associated with a bad memory, so maybe you were broken up with at your school dance in 8th grade and you were just totally heartbroken and a specific song was playing, and now whenever you listen to that song, you kind of relive that memory. That's not really a good memory to relive. So something like that, you would want to avoid listening to that song because it's going to provoke more negative feelings. For the cognitive benefits, listening to music can help organize the firing of our nerve cells in the right half of the cerebral cortex. So that's the right part of your brain. It helps to organize the cells so that they're firing and sending information in an organized manner. So this is the part of the brain that's responsible for higher functions. What this means is that music acts as an exercise that like warms up select brain cells, which allows you to process information more effectively. For example, like this, it would be good to use music if you're trying to study for a test. Listening to music beforehand kind of warms up your brain so that you'll be able to process the information that you're studying a little bit better. Music may increase the brain's ability to make new connections between nerve cells as well, which this is huge. Way back like 20 years ago or so, scientists did not believe that the brain could make new connections. They thought you were born with all your brain cells, and if they became damaged, that was it for you. You know, it couldn't regenerate. But now we're finding that some things can help our brain regenerate, and music is one of them. Humans are rhythmic beings. So if you think about like circadian rhythm, which is like our sleep cycles, our heart breathing, our heartbeat, our breathing, all of these things are rhythmic cycles. So the brain and the nervous system are hardwired to distinguish music from noise and to respond to rhythm and repetition, tones, and tunes. So we would rather hear things as patterns than all over the place. In one study, verbal memory was improved by 60% in music listeners compared to 20% in audiobook listeners and 30% in patients who did not listen to anything. Music enhances the brain's ability to concentrate and be productive. For sleep disorders, we kind of touched on sleep a little bit earlier when we talked about depression and anxiety, but a 2009 meta-analysis found that music-assisted relaxation can improve the quality of sleep in patients with sleep disorders. Relaxing music actually triggers changes in the body that in many ways mimic a sleep state. So if you think back to when we were talking about the cardiac benefits, how we have the slower heart rate, slower breathing, lower blood pressure, all of these things, when you combine them, kind of mimic a sleep state. Think about when you're sleeping, you're being like you're laying down, your heart rate slows, your breathing slows. So this mimic in sleep state can actually help put you to sleep. Music is soothing to our emotional brain and can help ease our stress and anxiety, which if you're someone who can't sleep, a lot of times it's a very stressful thing to be going through when you can't sleep. So being able to ease that stress and anxiety can help to put you to sleep. Research also shows that a pre-bedtime music listening session can help you fall asleep more quickly. So if you remember when I just said, when we are rhythmic beings, we want patterns. So if you listen to the same song, maybe a very relaxing song before bed every night, eventually your body is going to, and your brain is going to associate that song with sleep. So you'll be able to fall asleep more quickly. The therapeutic effects of music on sleep get stronger with time. So this is what I was just saying. The more consistently that you use music to sleep, and the more consistently you use the same song to help you sleep, the more effective that practice will become. Pain. A 2006 study of 60 adults with chronic pain found that music was able to reduce pain, depression, and disability. That's pretty cool. So listening to music before, during, and after surgery can help reduce pain and anxiety. There's a lot of things that have that I noticed were dealing with like surgery or like recovery after surgery. So if you are someone who is going into the hospital anytime soon or getting a surgery anytime soon, I highly recommend downloading some really nice songs onto your phone or your iPod or whatever you can listen to music on, because you know, there's tons of studies, the research is there, it's pretty cool. Maybe one day soon, hospitals will start playing music in patients' rooms. Patients who listen to music were less reliant on pain medications after surgery, which is really awesome. Listening to music can help both acute and chronic pain. And researchers are really unsure why music has this effect. There is a couple of theories. One of them being maybe it's related to its ability to relax and relieve tension. If you're in a more relaxed state, usually you're in a less painful state. Maybe it's also related to its ability to distract you from the unpleasantness of physical pain. If you're jamming out to your favorite song, you're probably not thinking about how badly whatever part of your body is hurting. One of the other theories is that music might stimulate hormones such as dopamine and oxytocin, which can actually result in a decrease in pain, like physiologically. Those hormones can help block pain signals and end up reducing pain. And the last theory is that our emotions and memories that music evokes may aid in pain relief. So if there's, that one song that makes you really happy, just that happiness emotion is enough to be able to reduce some pain. For exercise, music increases treadmill walking endurance, which is pretty cool. And it makes sense when you have that really awesome song playing in your ears while you're trying to work out. It definitely increases how much work you're going to put in. Music boosted peak anaerobic power on a bike ergometer, which just means that the people who were exercising on the bike had more power. They were working harder while they were listening to music, but they found the benefit was brief. American research found that music improved weightlifting effort, which makes sense. Again, if you're listening to that really great song and it's giving you that motivation to lift those weights, it's pretty cool. Music can help us increase effort and stamina during exercise. So if you've got that really great song, it can help you power through that. When you're about to hit that wall and you just want to give up, music can help you power through that and increase your stamina and your effort. Listening to music can make vigorous workouts feel more fun. And scientists who study the effects of music on exercise say that a tempo in the range of 120 to 140 beats per minute is generally ideal for enhancing performance. So that's like a little bit faster than your heartbeat, which makes sense. If you're going a little bit faster than your heartbeat, you're kind of working a little bit harder. You want to, put in that extra effort that matches the tempo of the music. Parkinson's disease. Volunteers were randomly assigned to a program that either trained them to walk and perform various movements in time to music or to go about their activities as normal. If you're not familiar with Parkinson's disease, this is a neurological disease that typically results in a lot of difficulty to walk. They will usually, people with Parkinson's disease have what we call as a shuffling gait. They kind of shuffle their feet, and their bodies tend to be a little bit stiffer. It's harder to move, and they might have a lot of shakes. So this group of volunteers, some of them were told to perform movements in time to music. So whether it was doing the laundry in time to a beat, or chopping vegetables, or brushing their teeth, or taking a shower. And what they found was that after 6 months, the dancing group had better gait and balance than the control group, and they had 54% fewer falls. So this is huge, especially with anyone who knows someone or maybe has Parkinson's themselves. This is a really great way to improve your movement and keep you from falling, which could end up hurting yourself in the long run. Whoops. Programs of movement to music appear to improve the mobility of patients, so with Parkinson's disease. Moving on to dancing. Listening to music can inspire us to move our bodies. I know I've definitely had a few songs where you just can't help it. You find yourself dancing. And dancing to rhythms of music is great for not only your cardiovascular health, but it can also be a really fun way to initiate weight loss. So a couple years ago, we saw a huge increase in Zumba classes, these fun dance classes that are a workout to help you lose weight. They help to improve your balance and strength. Dancing can be gentle on the body. You can do it within your limits, and it also helps to boost your mood because it does release some hormones. It allows our emotions to be processed and stagnant energy to let loose. So anyone who's had any type of trauma or any emotional trauma in their life, using dance to combat that is a really good way to move that energy so we don't store it in our bodies. A lot of times what people don't realize is when we go through traumatic experiences, we store our emotions in our bodies. For example, our hips can store a lot of grief. We can store a lot of like sadness in our chest, things like that. So moving your body and dancing in ways that feel good to you can actually help release those emotions. It's a form of self-expression and creativity. It can reduce fear and insecurity. And it activates the root chakra, which if you're not familiar with the chakras, we'll kind of talk about it in one of the next slides, but your body has 7 chakras, and this is more of like an ancient Chinese, ancient Indian type of way of looking at the human body. But the chakras are basically these like energy centers, and there's 7 of them that go down the center of your body. And if you've ever heard of twerking before, this activates the root chakra, and your root chakra is the most like powerful grounding chakra that helps to keep your energy centered and you feeling good. And twerking is a way to actually activate that, which I always find very funny. But dancing, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, you can do as little as just tapping your finger to as much as, you know, dancing on a stage in front of a lot of people. So have fun with it. Dancing's a great way to use music to help heal your body. So now we're going to just chat more about those chakras that I was explaining about. I like this little picture here because you can see all of the different chakras. There's 7 of them. We start at the very top of your head, which is your crown chakra, and then we have the third eye or the brow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and then the root chakra. And each chakra has a different frequency that is associated with it. So there's different notes. For example, the crown is the note of G, the brow is F, the throat is E, the heart is D, the solar plexus is C, the sacral is B, and the root is A. So if you're thinking about music, and sometimes, you know, you might just like feel the song in your heart, or you might just feel the song in your gut. That's because music is actually associated with the different chakras. Like there's a frequency that's associated with it and a note, and it can activate that. So with the root chakra, we see a lot of like drums and like that, those deeper sounds that affect the root chakra and the sacral chakras. The big wind instruments like trumpets can affect the sacral to the solar plexus. More metallic sounds kind of go into that solar plexus. So you know when you hear like that metallic screech and it kind of turns your stomach almost, that's because that's where the solar plexus lies, right in your stomach. The heart chakra is more of those string instruments, things like violin, viola. The throat chakra is correlated with more of like flute music, more of those like higher pitched wing instruments, and sometimes piano sounds as well. The third eye is more of like soft, subtle sounds, so things like bells or the sound of like water or bird songs, things like that. And then the crown chakra is affected by meditation and all instruments put together at once to make a beautiful harmony, which I think is so beautiful. And I wanted to stick this in here as well because I'm a huge fan of singing bowls, and these are traditionally used for meditation, but they're also used for health. So you can get all different pitched singing bowls if you choose to. The ones that I have correlate to the chakras because that's the easiest way to access those energies. And when you play them, you basically just like tap the side and you use the vibrations, and you can listen to it as it goes on. So when you tap it, it creates the vibration, and as you bring the mallet around the side of the bowl, it continues to vibrate without you having to tap it again. So these are used for things like deep relaxation, muscle regeneration, pain relief, reducing headaches, reducing energy blockages, and improving energy flow and removing toxins. the sound with its vibrations can ease mental and emotional pain, such as low self-esteem, worry, fears, anger, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. If anyone has ever listened to Tibetan sound bowls, they are just so beautiful. There's also like crystal singing bowls that are very similar, and they just promote so much healing. They have these unique tones that can help to stabilize your blood pressure, improve the function of your adrenal glands, and stabilize the meridians, which are energy systems in your body, to improve the way that your brain works. Alpha waves are brain waves that are present in the state of meditation and calm consciousness. And these singing bowls actually produce alpha waves when they're played. So they stimulate these like really deep feelings of relaxation. Learning to play an instrument is also really beneficial for your health. So basically, it's a skill that you have to learn. It takes a lot of brain power to learn how to play an instrument. And it uses the same parts of the brain that you need in order to master like language skills, memory, attention. So musical training has been correlated with academic success. Playing an instrument helps to stimulate the brain, it improves your memory, and it improves abstract reasoning skills, which I thought this was so interesting because those are the ones that are important for math and science. So a lot of times, like when you're thinking about music, at least for me, I think about like the arts and music and creation, whereas learning to play an instrument actually helps with math and science. It can help you to use both sides of your brain, which also strengthens memory power and gets your brain, like each hemisphere, talking to each other, which is pretty cool. Singing. Singing may provide similar benefits to those of deep breathing exercises. So if you've ever been in a chorus or choir or anything like that, you know that in order to sing, you really have to use a lot of breath work. It's recommended for stress relief because it helps to activate the relaxation response, just like deep breathing would. And it focuses on the lungs, the diaphragm, and the abdominal muscles. Studies have shown that people with various kind of speech problems, which we talked about this earlier with the stroke, so if your left side is damaged and you have some speech problems, singing can help with that because it's in the right side of the brain. Singing can also increase mood and boosts our immune system activity. Listening. There are physical effects of music's vibrations on the body. So we kind of talked about with the Tibetan singing bowls that there's like that deep relaxation, that muscle regeneration, some pain relief. It can help eliminate toxins from the body and boost our immune system. Music helps atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, and organs function in a more synchronized way. I wish I could link this video, but it wasn't working for me. But there's this video of, I'll try to explain it. Basically, it's a big table, and this guy pours salt on it, and then he strikes the table, and it vibrates. And you can see all of the salt start to make a beautiful pattern. So as that music is happening and those sound waves are affecting the salt, it's becoming organized and coming into this beautiful, like snowflake almost like pattern. So that's what happens when we listen to music. Our atoms, our molecules, our cells, our tissues, everything is kind of following those sound waves and becoming more synchronized. You get better energy flow, you get a relaxed mind, easing mental and emotional blockages. Feelings can be activated and released. It can also help with better concentration, and it can improve your self-confidence, boosting creativity and productive potential. Music therapy is an actual thing, like it's a real type of therapy. And you can have a music therapist that you work with, which is basically someone who just acts as a guide, and they can help you find music that promotes relaxation, that stimulates happiness. It can help to improve your active listening skills, release anxiety, and summon some energy. They will be able to determine the best way for you to use music in your life. So a music therapist might have you learn how to sing, or they might have you just listen to music, or maybe they have you learning an instrument. But you don't need a music therapist to enjoy all of the health benefits of music therapy. You can actually do it with yourself. So if you want to do it to yourself, all you need to do is find some music that makes you feel good. It can be classical music, it can be your favorite rock and roll song, it could be the next pop hit, whatever it is. You want to pick both calm and relaxing pieces as well as some stimulating ones. And if you're going to do this, I highly recommend just making yourself a playlist on your phone or on your TV. Thank you for the sound waves with salt. Thank you for that. Stephen just linked the video there. So if you're feeling stressed, all you have to do is open up your music therapy playlist and listen to the soothing songs for a couple of minutes, like about 20 minutes or so. If you're feeling really low energy and so tired, but you have so much work to do, and you just need that like pick me up, then you can pick, your energizing, exciting songs, the ones that stimulate you. It's important to observe how music makes you feel and give in to those emotions. So music can be a part of your everyday life, and it's so easy to use it, and it's for the most part free. You can go online and find almost any song you want. So it's a really good way to get us through COVID, get us through everything that's going on in our lives, and just something awesome to be able to use. So I am going to see if this will work if I click on it. Let me see. Yes, it will. Okay. But
writing's not that.
Give me 1 second because
Grammarly can help.
I need to screen share with a different screen. So hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay. I'm going to play this for you just so you guys can see what I was talking about.
Is grammatically correct.
You guys see how the salt moves into these really cool patterns? It's pretty cool. So that was just a quick little snippet of salt with the sound therapy, but it's really cool. There's some really cool videos of it on there. I went down a rabbit hole exploring those the other day, but my computer does not like when I link things to PowerPoint. Does anyone have any questions about any sound therapy, any music stuff, or any comments? Has anyone ever seen the salt therapy or anything like that before?
If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute your microphone, by all means, that's perfectly fine.
I can share the slides. I can send them to Stephen. That's fine.
You have someone that's looking for a music recommendation.
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask for music recommendations. I like to listen to like mostly classic rock, but I always use like Spotify or Pandora and just try to find like songs that I like. And with those programs, especially Pandora, because you can like the songs that come on that you like, and the more that you like them, there's an algorithm and they'll kind of start playing more of the similar songs, and that's usually how I find new music. But I'm a big fan of, you know, like most of the classic, how do you spell it? Yeah, just like that, Pandora. You can go right on pandora.com. It's free. You just have to make an account with like an email, but it's free. And there's an app that you can put on the phone too. Yes, I love Insight Timer. That's a really great app. They do have a ton of good meditation sounds. Yes, I love that. Good suggestion, Kathy. Kathy wrote, the sound vibration is called somatics. It's a great practice for relaxation, is to play a spa playlist. If you have an Amazon Alexa, just say play spa music. Yes, that's so great. And that's that type of music too, one that doesn't have any lyrics, can be really beneficial when you're working on things that you need to like read and stuff like that, where you don't really want lyrics. You don't want anyone telling you things while you're trying to type or read, but it can be really relaxing for that. So that's great. Thank you for that suggestion. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? Or you are welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I had, like I said, I had so much fun learning this because it was really, really interesting. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of this, but binaural beats work. I believe so. It has to do with the frequency. I haven't looked at the research that much for them, but I know it has to do with the frequency and it matches, you know, brainwave stuff. So, in theory, they should work. I'll say that. Pick me up music, honestly, whatever makes you happy. That was kind of that one slide where we were talking about happy music, that, you know, one person's happy might be someone else's sad. So whatever really picks you up. For me, it's like the classic rock genre. I always think I should have been born in like the 70s, but and anything that you really like, if something makes you happy, you know, keep listening to it. Cool. Does anyone else? Classical Christmas music, not only during Christmas. That's another great suggestion. Well, thank you, everyone. If anyone has anything else to say, please feel free. Is the music of your youth? Yes, I love that suggestion. The quickest way to find pick-me-up music is the music of your youth. Whatever was popular when you were in your late teens. Yeah, definitely. There's always going to be a couple songs that have that like nostalgia associated with them. You're welcome.
Can I ask, so the benefits of music are well established scientifically, but what about the chakras? I mean, because is that something has been established scientifically, or is that
That's more of like an ancient Indian, ancient Chinese medicine type of concept, I guess. There is some like minimal research that's actually like scientific about just like energy things, like more associated with traditional Chinese medicine in the sense of like the meridians and acupuncture and acupressure, and seeing those types of benefits, where there's been studies or in like case reports of that type of energy work. As for the chakras, not super scientific, but it's very widely believed in a lot of the ancient health concepts.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I like to throw a little bit of everything in there. Oh, baby lullabies. Yeah, for the really young. There's another good, it's called Rockabye Baby. I can put it in the chat. Rockabye Baby. These are all like there's tons of current songs on there. There's like Metallica on there, but it's all in a nursery, like in like a lullaby type of sounds, and like they're very peaceful, but it's funny because there's a lot of like current songs that are on there. Cool.
We also have at the library lots of relaxation music CDs, and there's also some meditation music CDs that are just very, light background music. There are also some good ones. There was an orchestra back in the 70s, Mystic Moods Orchestra. They had there was light music with some raindrops falling in the background and some sounds of the night, crickets chirping, and those CDs could be very, very relaxing, and they're all still available, and we have some of them in the library collection, but on YouTube they've probably uploaded a bunch of them, but those are some suggestions.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, well, I'd like to thank everybody for zooming in, and I'd like to, as always, thank Dana for a absolutely superb presentation, and we look forward to some more upcoming events. So everybody have a great week ahead and weekend, and we'll catch you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.